questions. Today at Tim's Town Hall, we are so thankful to have with us Carly Fiorina. But it is very hard to find a story better than Carly Fiorina. Here's a woman who worked her way up from being the secretary at HB to being the CEO at HB. Here's a person who has not only taken a company from 80,000 employees, but she doubled it to 160,000 employees. Here's a woman who loves our country, who has fought for our country, who's worked on behalf of presidential candidates in the past, and now here she is presenting herself as a presidential candidate. There are two things that I think are most important about Carly. As this month we celebrate Beverly Step Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Carly Fiorina is a breast cancer survivor. And like myself, Carly had an amazing mom. And her mama told her something that I wanted to read, because I wanted to get it right. You heard it before, but her mother was so clear in her early instructions. And if you believe, as I do, that Carly is living up to the request of her mama, give her an amazing round of applause. Her mama said, what you are is God's gift to you. What you make of yourself is your gift to God. Help me welcome Carly Fiorina.
Two gentlemen I would rather be sharing the stage with, and Senator Scott and Congressman Gowdy. And I am so delighted to be here with you on a rainy day. Thanks for braving the rain. I am keenly aware, having lived and traveled and worked all over the world, that it is only possible in this nation. It is only possible in this nation that a young woman can start out in the middle of a deep recession, typing and filing and answering the phones, go on one day to become the chief executive of what we turned into the largest technology company in the world and run for the presidency of the United States. That is only possible. And it's possible here to see, because our founders knew what my mother taught. Our founders knew everyone has God given gifts. Our founders knew what I have learned in the course of my life. Everyone has potential. And they founded a nation on a visionary idea. The idea was that here you have a right to fulfill your potential. They described that as the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What would they mean? Which you had a right in this nation to find and use your God-given gifts and to make your way in life. You have the right to build a life of dignity and purpose and meaning. And we know everyone has the capacity to do so. And they further said that that right comes from God and cannot be taken away by man. Now, we have had to work hard in the course of our nation's history to make sure that that right applies to everyone, to make a more perfect union, but nevertheless it remains true that that idea, that everyone has a right to fulfill their potential and that right cannot be taken away by man or government, that idea remains visionary. I am running for the presidency of the United States because I believe we have come to a pivotal point in our nation's history. I believe we have come to a point in our nation's history where the possibilities for too many Americans, indeed the potential of this great nation, is being crushed by a federal government that has grown too big, too powerful, too costly, too complex, too inept, and too corrupt. Exceptions noted here on the stage.
Ask yourself a question. If you can't understand something,
what do you suppose the chances are that you're getting taken advantage of? Almost 100%. So, once again, you're going to hear binders full of great ideas on conservative tax reform. My blueprint, 73,000 to 3. That means you've got to lower every rate, close every loophole. The only way to level the playing field between big, powerful, wealthy, well-connected, and small and powerless is to simplify. And unless the American people partner with these three leaders on the stage, it's never going to happen, because tax reform is going to gore somebody's eyes. It's why it never happens. 73,000 to 3. Simplify. We have to know where every dollar is being spent, and there must be consequences for corruption, for dereliction of duty, or just plain doing a lousy job.
Carly, as a favor, Senator Scott and I, if you could take it from 3 pages down to 2 pages, we would be very, very grateful to you. Listening to you.
No, it's we. Keep us up. It's we.
Listening to your introduction, your life narrative is incredibly compelling. So is Senator Scott's. Every time I hear him introduced, I am remembered that the ultimate family value is a job. And lots of our fellow citizens desperately are seeking employment, or they want a different, better job. How do you create jobs and put people who want to be on the pathway to success on that pathway?
So first, I use the phrase dignity, purpose, and meaning. Everyone wants a life of dignity and purpose and meaning. Work brings dignity. Family brings purpose. Faith brings meaning into our lives. And so it's not just that people want to work for a paycheck. They need to work. We all need to have dignity and purpose in our life, whether we're working at home or working outside the home. Let us start with the reality that we have tangled up people's lives in webs of dependence that go on generation after generation. And I believe this is the height of disrespect and disregard for other people's God-given gifts. I was asked once, this is the core, I think, of the conversation we have to have in 2016 to win this election. I was asked on The View. I don't know how many of you watch The View, but it's not exactly the Republican primary audience, but sometimes we got to talk to people who don't yet know that they agree with us. And I was asked, this may seem far afield from the fundamental question, how do you create jobs, but it's not. Because it has to start with a core belief that everybody wants and is capable and needs to work. Anyway, I was asked, I was having a conversation with Whoopi Goldberg and Rosie Perez, and we were having a great time, and Rosie Perez says to me, Carly, I really like you. I think she was surprised. I'm not a Republican, she said. I said, Rosie, I'm shocked. I wouldn't have guessed that. Why are you? Why are you? And this is the question we have to answer to win. And I said, because I know no one of us is any better than any other one of us. Every one of us is gifted by God. Each of us can live lives of dignity and purpose and meaning. And I know our values, our principles, and our policies work better to lift everyone up. Progressives do not believe this. Progressives believe some are smarter than others, some are better than others, and therefore some of us are going to take care of the rest of you. It is the height of disrespect and disregard. So we must start with the fundamental proposition that everyone is capable, everyone has God-given gifts, and we must disentangle people's lives from webs of dependence. Every incentive in these programs of dependence tells people to lay back, not to lean forward. And change incentives so that people are rewarded for moving forward in their lives, for trying and working harder. Second, we must understand where the engine of job creation is in this nation actually. The engine of job creation in this nation is small business, family-owned business.
Carly, James from Aiken wants to ask something a little more in the personal realm. What did you learn by running for the United States Senate in California?
So I started the Senate race 1 year before the general election. I was bald. I just finished cancer treatments. We recently buried our daughter. We lost our younger daughter to demons of addiction, an epidemic in this country, by the way, and one that we must invest in treating, helping people with addiction. And California is a state with 7.5 million registered Democrats. So the Democrats thought they had a pretty safe seat. 6 months later, I won a 3-way primary with 57% of the vote. We would go on and force the Democrat Party to spend $30 million defending what they thought was a safe seat. President Obama flew out 4 times to try and save Barbara Boxer. Of course, in the end, she was victorious. My husband, Frank, honestly still says to me, I just can't believe you lost to Barbara Boxer. But I digress. In any event, it was a fight worth having. It was a fight worth having. Despite that loss, to your question, what did I learn? I won more Republican votes, more Democrat votes, more independent votes than any Republican running anywhere in the nation that year. That's how big California is. But what I learned, I ran as a proud pro-life conservative. You don't do that in California unless you really mean it. And I didn't change my position from primary to general. So what does that tell me? It tells me that a conservative can win with Democrats and independents. I also learned the ground game matters. The ground game matters. Polls do not win elections. Ads don't win elections. Votes win elections. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if we want to win in 2016, we better get all of our vote out, and then we need to go on and convince independents and Democrats that our vision for their America will lift them up as well.